These are my top 10 best male wrestlers in the world currently right now active, and I'm only counting current superstars who are actively wrestling. If they're injured, I'm not going to count them on this list because they're injured. And this list is also in no particular order, and I'm also going to do honorable mentions after I give you my top 10. Let's just get the obvious one out of the way. Roman Reigns, he's in there. Nobody can tell me otherwise. You don't have to have Roman Reigns at number one, whatever, that's cool. You don't have to like Roman Reigns, championship run, whatever, but there's nobody on this earth that's gonna convince me and tell me that Roman Reigns is not a top 10 wrestler in the world right now. The last 3 years, he's producing great storylines, having great matches. His promos have improved. His character work is top tier. He's a top 10 superstar right now. There's no doubt about it. I'm putting Gunther in here, man, the ring general. Gunther at this point, I think, honestly, is a real strong candidate to be the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. He's going to break the all-time record. He has nothing but great matches. Hasn't really had too many bad matches that you could think of since he's been in the WWE, whether it was NXT UK, NXT, or the main roster. His dominance on the main roster has been great. He's one of the very few people that's actually succeeded coming up from NXT, because we've seen a lot of people in the past come up from NXT and the company doesn't know what to do with them. They get lost in the shuffle. He's had tremendous success coming up to the main roster. He's a future world champion, a future main eventer, and he's definitely a top 10 wrestler in the world right now. This dude can have a great match with anybody. Cody Rhodes definitely makes the cut for me. I mean, you could argue right now he may be the most popular, most over superstar in the WWE as we speak, because there have been multiple times that fans thought, they were going to turn on Cody like they did in AEW, and they haven't. His reactions continue to grow. He continues to get more popular like week by week, man. Like, they went from singing parts of his song to singing his entire theme. Like, Cody Rhodes is so over. Of course, you gotta have the visionary Seth Rollins on here, man. Seth freaking Rollins. He's been one of the best workers in the game for, God, years now. I mean, this guy could have a 5-star match with damn near anybody. Put a broomstick in the ring with Seth Rollins, he gonna give it a 5-star match. Seth Rollins has been one of the best in the game for a long time. Gotta be in the top 10. I don't see how he couldn't. Kazuchika Okada has been one of the best wrestlers in New Japan Pro Wrestling for damn near 10 years now, and one of the best wrestlers in the world. I mean, his dominance in New Japan has been extraordinary. His match quality is also great. He's been having bangers for years in New Japan. Like, even if you're not familiar with New Japan Pro Wrestling, I feel like majority of the fans have heard the name Okada. Like, that's how infamous he is right now. Like, Okada has been that guy for years. Kenny Omega definitely has to be on here. Another guy who's been killing it, man, in wrestling for damn near a decade now, whether it was in New Japan or now in AEW. Like, Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen with my own eyes. Like, his match quality is just incredible. He's just all around phenomenal, man. Like, he's definitely in the top 10. There's no doubt about it. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, definitely is in the top 10 for me. I mean, his presentation over the last few years has been top tier. He has good matches. His promo ability is his best strong suit. I mean, you could put MJF in the ring with damn near anybody, and he could hold his own weight cutting promos against the best of the best. And you know what makes him so special is his mystique behind his character, his presentation, man. Adam Cole, baby, would make the cut for me, man. I mean, since he's come back from his injury, he hasn't missed a step, and his stuff that he's doing with MJF definitely is ranking him higher and higher as far as being top tier in AEW among the greats. Like, Adam Cole's presentation has been really, really good over the last few months, and if he beats MJF to become, the AEW World Champion, it's going to submit him even further in the top 10, honestly. Like, Adam Cole has been one of the best wrestlers in the world for a long time, too. Can have a good match with damn near anybody. He's had dominant performances everywhere he's been, whether it was Ring of Honor, NXT, AEW. He succeeded everywhere he's been a top champion. Now all he has to do is become the AEW World Champion. Of course, Will Ospreay is on here, man. One of the best wrestlers, hands down, in the world today. Honestly, Will Ospreay got an argument to be top 5 best in the world, if we're being honest. He's just that great. He's just that great. I mean, dude doesn't have bad matches. I mean, his match quality is just incredible, man. Like, his skill set is phenomenal. He could put on a good match, and I mean a good match with anybody right now. The Great Khali could come back at his age right now and wrestle Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay would make the Great Khali look like $1 million. This last superstar I'm gonna mention may surprise some people, I guess, depending on who else you have in your top 10, but for me, I'm putting Matt Cardona on here. Some of y'all may remember him as Zack Ryder in WWE. If you haven't followed his career ever since he's left the WWE, his presentation and the way he's reinvented himself on the independent scene to become a top-level guy has been incredible to watch. What he's doing on the independent circuit is proving to everybody, especially the WWE, that he could have been a top star there and a top star anywhere right now. You honestly can make the argument, if you've been watching him ever since he's left WWE, he could legit be the best heel in all of wrestling right now. I do want to talk about some honorable mentions, like I said before. If Bryan Danielson wasn't injured right now, he definitely would be in my top 10, but because he's injured, I didn't want to include injured people, so Bryan Danielson is going to be an honorable mention for now. Carmelo Hayes also, honestly, could make the argument to be in the top 10 best in the world right now. I mean, he's been having great matches all year in NXT, especially as an NXT champion. Like, he's just been doing his thing this year. Like, Carmelo Hayes definitely has a strong argument to be on on this list. AJ Styles, I'm going to give an honorable mention because he is still one of the best pure in-ring wrestlers, I think, top 10 in the world right now, but his presentation hasn't been presented, top 10 as far as being involved in important storylines and being pushed to the top. Like, he's kind of neutral right now. But as far as pure talent, I still think AJ Styles can go out there and have a good match with damn near anybody. LA Knight is going to be an honorable mention. I know some people probably were screaming like, why isn't LA Knight in the top 10? To me, he's not screaming top 10 right now. Like, his presentation isn't screaming a top 10 wrestler in the world. Like, yeah, he's gotten super over. He's super popular right now. You could talk about he's one of the top 10 most popular superstars in the world right now. But as far as being presented as a top 10 wrestler, he hasn't had any really good important storylines yet. He hasn't won too many good matches that he needs to be winning, hasn't won any titles. Like, his presentation isn't screaming top 10 in the world. His popularity, you could argue that, but his presentation doesn't make the cut. Gonna run through some other names real quick. John Moxie may have made some other people's cut. Doesn't make my cut for me right now because I don't think he's screaming, top 10 best in the world as far as his presentation. I mean, Blackpool Combat Club is doing cool things, but I wouldn't have Moxie in mind. Switchblade Jay White, if this was earlier in the year when he was the champion in Japan, he would have made the cut, but his presentation in AEW hasn't screamed top 10 for me either. I mean, he's doing some cool things right now on Collision, but as far as top 10 in the world, I feel like everybody else is being presented better and doing better things than him. Tetsuya Naito has a strong suit to make the top 10. I mean, he just won the G1, so I wouldn't be too upset if people said he was top 10, or even Sonata. He is the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion of the world in New Japan, so if people wanted to put him in the top 10, I completely understand that as well. But for me, I feel like it's hard to argue my top 10 person. The only other person I would really put in there would be Bryan Danielson if he wasn't injured. And honestly, don't even know who I would take out for Bryan Danielson. That's the hard part. Like, I feel like the 10 names that I named all have strong suits to be in the top 10.